But first, we've got breaking news from Los Angeles, where Matthew Perry's former assistant was sentenced today for his role in the 2023 overdose death of the Friends actor.
Kenneth Iwamasa will spend more than 3 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute ketamine, causing death. Prosecutors allege Iwamasa gave Perry the final fatal dose of the drug nearly 3 years ago. Iwamasa was Perry's live-in personal assistant at the time and was the last person to see him alive.
NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Melas is tracking this case, and we're also joined by NBC News legal analyst Misty Marris. Chloe, I'll begin with you. Talk us through the details of the sentencing here, and what role do prosecutors say Iwamasa played in Perry's death?
Well, prosecutors say that Kenneth Iwamasa played an instrumental role leading up to Perry's death. I mean, he administered that final fatal shot of ketamine, but that he was speaking to these different individuals, including doctors who were illegally prescribing Matthew Perry this ketamine, and that he was really coordinating all of this, knowing that Matthew Perry had a decades-long addiction to ketamine and substances, something that he, according to Matthew Perry's family, was there to protect Perry, to let his family know if he had fallen back onto hard times. Like you've already said, he is sentenced to 41 months in prison, 2 years of supervised release, and then he will also be ordered to pay $10,000. It's a fine to the U.S. government, and he has until noon on July 17th this summer to surrender.
And Chloe, the family has not been quiet about their anger at him for everything that happened, their outrage, really. Can you tell us more about the relationship that he had with the Friends star and what the family had to say?
Yeah, well, actually, NBC News spoke with Suzanne Morrison, Matthew Perry's mother, as she was walking into court today. Take a listen.
You don't feel betrayed. You feel heartbroken. You feel empty. As a mother, I feel as though my life has been permanently changed, altered.
So you hear her say, my life has been permanently changed. She's heartbroken. She feels betrayed. She writes in this letter to the court that NBC News obtained yesterday that this was a man that worked with Perry for 2 years, who they trusted, who after Perry's death stayed very close with the family, even spoke at Perry's funeral, acting as though he was such a good friend to them. And then they allege that he even tried to seek money from the family after Perry passed away. And we know, according to prosecutors, that Kenneth Iwamasa, would administer up to 8 injections per day to Matthew Perry in his final days.
In light of all that, Misty, Iwamasa did end up being an important witness for the prosecution. Can you walk us through how that impacted likely the sentencing?
Absolutely. So Iwamasa gave prosecutors information which was substantial and valuable to the prosecution of the other co-conspirators in this case. Because of that, when the prosecutors make a recommendation to the judge, which the judge has to sign off on and did in this case, prosecutors recommended something lower, taking that into consideration. Not only that, the fact that he pled guilty, he was the first to plead guilty, set him up to have a significant reduction in the sentence that's recommended.
And prosecutors, they asked for, what, 3.5 years? So they essentially got what they were asking for in this resolution today.
Yes, absolutely. And you often see that. The judges will be pretty deferential to what prosecutors ask for, specifically when it comes to plea deals. Now, judges don't have to. They can take other factors into consideration, and they can actually give more time than prosecutors recommend. But in many, many cases, and especially it's laid out in prosecutors' recommendation in a sentencing memo, judges will often defer, specifically when it comes to these plea arrangements.
All right, Misty Marris, Chloe Melas, thank you both.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.